Hi everyone, welcome back. This is not a song diary. This is a special episode on my channel, and today I'm gonna tell you my coming out story. So stick around. First of all, happy Pride to everyone. Hopefully everyone's staying safe again and healthy. I know this year has been bananas, but I think we still can celebrate and remember how important it is to be proud of who we are, what we accomplish, and the community that we have built. This week I didn't want to do a song diary. This week I wanted to tell you a story about how I came out, also because this year is gonna be 10 years since I came out. I wanted to share with you the story and well, that's what I'm gonna do. As many of you know, I'm gay. So 10 years ago, I finally decided to come out. I was 18. You all know how it is. I think we all experience that feeling of knowing that you're different, that you don't fit in with what society revolves around. As many of you, I didn't feel that way since I used to watch the Power Rangers. I think I always like the guys more. The point is, I've always knew. It's not something that I just turned into or something that I one day said, oh, I'm gonna be gay. Sounds fun. My whole life I had to deal with, and even though I did have other issues in my life that probably made me a little more insecure, like, I don't know, my mom passing, the fact that I was feeling attraction to guys, it always put me down. It always made me feel insecure. I grew up Catholic. I grew up with all these ideas of guilt. I grew up with fear of coming out and tell my dad, hey, I feel this way. I am this way. I guess it was harder to embrace that part. I did have some girlfriends, but it was never something that I really wanted to do. It was just everybody was having girlfriends and kissing girls, so the social pressure that, okay, you have to do that too. I did, but it never felt real. It never felt right. I went through middle school and high school with this secret and these insecurities about who I was. I think that's the hardest part for everyone in the LGBTQ community, to come to terms to who we are. Either bisexual or transsexual or lesbian or gay or asexual. I think coming out to yourself is the hardest part. One day I just decided to look in the mirror and said, okay, what you gonna do? You're gonna live your life hiding, afraid, dishonest to others about who you are, not loving yourself, because it's an everyday struggle of denying who you are. I decided I was not gonna live that life. Also, at the time I was discovering music, and I was discovering artists like Madonna and artists like Pink and artists like Marilyn Manson and David Bowie and all this artistry that came with the LGBT community. You know, Prince and Sylvester and Elton John and in Mexico, Juan Gabriel and Chabela Vargas, and I realized that it wasn't a bad thing. And I embraced that and I said, okay, I think I am much more than a stereotype. I love myself too much to keep hiding. That was probably the hardest part. Then obviously you have to tell your family. I have two sisters, an older sister and a little one. At the time, my little sister was 10, I think. My older sister was 23, 24. I was very close at the time with my little sister. We used to watch online videos all the time and hang out and listen to music all the time, and it felt just natural to tell her, you know what, I'm gay. And she took it so naturally and she accepted it, and she was like, oh, that's cool, and I still love you. Let's keep watching YouTube videos, let's keep watching this. And it didn't feel like she was judging me. I was still afraid to tell my dad because he grew up in Mexico in a society that's a little more macho mentality, a little more close-minded, and even at this day he still has big problems and hard time accepting it. So obviously it was not something he was expecting. I knew he was not in the train of embracing and accepting this part of me. I knew that he was not gonna take it well, and I was terrified. And also because I grew up with him and I knew the kind of comments he used to make, and sometimes he still makes, about gay people and trans people. Maybe some of you know, people who grew up with parents like that know how complicated that can be and how terrifying it makes everything. I remember well because it was November 1st or 2nd, I think November 2nd. In Mexico we have something called the Day of the Dead. If some of you don't know, it's a big holiday in Mexico. We celebrate the dead, we make big parties. We go to the graveyard, we decorate it. But anyway, that's a different subject. So it was Day of the Dead weekend. That weekend I decided to go to like this kind of costume thing party, and honestly I didn't even thought about it, but I just wore leggings and a tank top. At the time, I guess leggings were only worn by women. When I came back that night, my dad was pissed that I was wearing leggings, because I guess for him it was like, oh, that's something only women wear, what are you wearing that? So we got into an argument. He told me, hey, why you dressed up as a woman? And he started arguing. And for you who have been in this situation of coming out, or for those who are still in there and haven't done it, you know the feeling of tiredness and the feeling of feeling fed up with hiding who you are and have to make up lies. It's a time bomb. I was tired and fed up of it. He was pushing that idea that I was dressed as a woman and how I dared to do that and that I was crazy. I got angry and I shouted, because I'm gay. Before that, I had scenarios planned in my head where I was gonna sit down with him and talk and tell him, you know what, I'm gay. In a calm manner, you know, probably in restaurants, he will control the drama. But, you know, the situation drove me to that, and I was angry and I was just tired of hiding and being attacked. And I still remember the look in his face of like anger and disappointed, and it hurt because you don't feel love in that moment. You feel like life is not, you're not what he wants, you're just hated. And to see that in his eyes was really, it was hard. Fortunately at the time I had a good support system of friends, and my older sister, she actually found out at the same time because she was there, and she hugged me and she supported me. And my dad went to his room, I went to mine, and it was just, I knew that everything was gonna be different. Yeah, I still wish I would have done it differently, but you know, life and situations sometimes come at you and you have to just dive nose in. A few days later, he came to me and said, okay, if that's the life you're choosing, you cannot live here. Fortunately, at the time I was working, I've been working since I was very young. We got into an argument again of, I was just tired of hiding who I was, and he kicked me out. And I know for some of you who have experienced this or I've been through situations like this, understand how sad these things are. So I just went with it. I left the house that day and that was it. Fortunately, time and distance have helped kind of build a new relationship with him. We still don't talk about it. He still has a very close mind about it. He still doesn't embrace it fully. I understand he grew up with a different mentality, with a different idea, and you know, different time. I'm lucky that now I'm free to do and to be who I am, that I'm able to express who I am through my work, that I don't have to lie to you in my songs, in my work, about who I am, what I stand for, and who I decide to love. And that's a good thing, and it gets better, of course. There's rough times. That's what I wanted to share mine with you, so you remember that it gets better, especially people who are young and afraid that their family is gonna reject them. Yeah, it's a probability and it's a chance that it's gonna happen, but there's a world out there that loves you and that is gonna embrace you. And that is gonna embrace you, and just for a little bit that pain takes over. I work really hard to make sure that what I do and what I sing about and what I represent with my work inspires you and inspires others to see the light and to be more humane, especially when the times are crazy like today. And I really hope and I really want that those who listen to my work and listen to what I do can feel that love and can feel that support, and remember that it gets better, and then life as a member of the LGBTQ community is rough, but we're getting there. Thankfully now things are so much better than 10 years ago when I had to come out. There's more information, there's more representation, there's more support, there's more power in the community, and there's more love. I'm happy to look back. I'm happy to look back and to see the progress, and to see that kids nowadays don't have to go through what I've been through, and that they can be themselves and their families and loved ones are going to be there for them. That makes me so happy. And even though we have still a lot to do, especially in other countries where, you know, being LGBTQ is still a crime. Places like Iran, many countries in Africa, Russia, we still have a long way to go, but I know that we'll get there. And I'm sorry, I'm crying. That's why I wanted to share with you this week my story. Hopefully it shines a light on your life. I'm here for you. Thank you again. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for subscribing. Oh yeah, remember to subscribe, to give a like, share this video. Let me know what you think. If you want to tell me your coming out story, if you want advice, if you want support, I'm here. Please stay safe. Remember that anything's possible. Remember that life is beautiful. See you next week. Thank you again. Be a light, be loud, be possible.